Hello, welcome. Good afternoon. My name is Bob Lay, and my pronouns are he, him, his, and I am the programs manager at San Diego Pride and a United States Navy veteran. I also serve as the Pride staff liaison to our Pride military department. And it is my pleasure today to welcome you to this Pride military department stand down, where we're going to talk about veterans education benefits. So thank you for joining us today to learn more about veterans education benefits. You know, San Diego is home to the largest active duty military and veteran population in the world. And the Pride Military Department wants to ensure not only that our active duty service members, but our veterans are taking advantage of their veterans benefits. And so we've brought a speaker to you today from Mesa College, who's going to be able to tell us more about VA education benefits. So at this point, I'd like to welcome our two guests. First up, we have Clay Kilpatrick. Clay's pronouns are he, him, his, and Clay is the chair of the San Diego Pride Military Department. Clay, are you with us today?
Yes, I am. Hi, Bob. Thanks for that introduction, and I want to welcome everybody to today's presentation.
Outstanding. Next, we have Vicki Hernandez. Vicki uses hers pronouns and is currently the supervisor for the Veterans Success Center and Records Office at Mesa College. Vicki has more than 25 years working in higher education and 15 years working with military affiliated students. She is committed to serving the veteran student population and military dependents. And we are so excited that she's joined us this afternoon. Before working at Mesa College, Vicki served as the Assistant Director of Veterans Services at Cal State San Marcos. So she has a wealth of knowledge and information that she's going to share with us today. So, Vicki, would you join us, please?
Hi, everyone.
Hello.
Thank you for coming today. I'm really excited about this. So let's have a lot to talk about. Let's get going.
Okay. Well, then, for both of you, thank you for being here today. I'll jump this off with the very first question. Oh, sorry about that. So our very first question, Vicki, give us an overview of what is education benefits. You know, assume I just got out of the military and I don't know really anything, but I want to get something of my education. What do I do?
Well, you know, one of the first things, because, you know, for the most part, everyone coming out of the military is going to be able to get their post 9/11 GI Bill or their GI Bill. First thing you need to do is sign up through the va.gov website. It's a really simple application. You get it done, you turn it in, you decide what school you want to go to, you let the school know that you're wanting to come to their school and use your VA benefits. So there's a post 9/11 GI Bill that all of you have heard about. There's a forever GI Bill. You know, there's all different types of things that you can use. And it's just not the veteran or the active duty service member, but, you know, it's the family members as well. So, yeah, it's a pretty simple process, like I said. va.gov, that's the main thing. You get there and you're on your way.
Outstanding. Sounds great.
Yeah.
So you mentioned the dependents and you know, spouses and that stuff.
Yeah.
Is it more than just the veteran or the active duty person?
No, absolutely. So the nice thing about the post 9/11 GI Bill, when that came out, is that it wasn't just for the veterans. It was for the spouses, maybe for the children, any of the dependents. The service member just has to turn it over or say, I want to give little Johnny, 12 months to go to school. I want to give my wife or husband another X amount to go to school. And the beauty of this benefit is that it pays for the school, so it pays all the tuition. Okay? It gives you a housing allowance. About $2,700 here in San Diego, not bad. It's an E5 with dependents, is what it's equal to. And then it also gives you a little bit of a book stipend. So it's not just for the service member, it's also for their family if they choose to use it in that way, which is a great benefit. Helps send the kiddos to school, or the spouse for that matter.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Does the VA benefit you? Okay, you mentioned the post 9/11. What is that again? Tell me that, please.
Right. Yeah. Well, the post 9/11 GI Bill, that is available to any person who had served in the military after September 11th, 01. Okay. So prior to that, it was the Montgomery GI Bill, the old GI Bill. Okay. Yeah, the older GI Bill, we'll say. And that one was set up where you just got a small amount of money per month. It was like $2,100 per month. Okay. Well, once 9/11 happened, Congress went back and they got this really great GI Bill put out for the veterans and for the service members to get something that's going to really help them, right? Paying for your tuition and fees, the mandatory ones, that's great. You're looking at anywhere from $800 at a community college to, and that's a semester, to $4,000 at one of the 4-year schools. Okay, even more if you're at a private school. Okay, then in addition to that, it's going to help you pay books. It's going to give you about $500, maybe $350, $500 a semester to pay for books. And if any of you guys are starting college or have already been there, you already know that what $300 can be for a book or $150 for a book for a class. Then it's going to give you that housing allowance, which again in San Diego is $2,700 a month that you're in school. It's a pretty good deal. Then we also, and now the post 9/11 had a 15-year expiration. So if you didn't use it within 15 years after you got out, you kind of lost it. And we all know that kind of life gets in the way. So what happened is that Congress then went back to the drawing board and passed the Forever GI Bill. The Forever GI Bill, and this was in 2017. The Forever GI Bill says, you know what? You served, you earned it. There's no deadline. You can use it whenever. So that's the nice thing about that Forever GI Bill. You can use it whenever.
And I'm sure that's not retroactive, right?
No.
Clay
You know what?
Clay and I couldn't use that. Clay and I can't use that one, huh?
No. You won't be able to. But for most of the folks coming into college right now, they're able to use it and then transfer it off to the dependents they can use as well. So, yeah.
So it's important that you mentioned there is, with the exception of the 2017 Forever GI Bill, prior to that, there was an expiration date. So if somebody was the post 9/11, so basically post 9/11, but prior to 2017, they have a 15-year window to use it?
They did. So basically from August 1st, 2001 to August 5th or something, 2017, they had 15 years to use it. Post 9/11, there was 10 years. So it went from 10 to 15 to forever. So it's getting better. Definitely getting better.
So, I mean, one of the things we're trying to do is educate our veterans that you have a benefit. This is there. I mean, you just, like you said, you go into the VA system and you sign up for this, and it's there. You don't have to take a test, right? You don't have to qualify. Well, let me ask you this: you need to have what type of discharge?
Need to have an honorable discharge. Basically, you're not able to have a dishonorable. Okay, you do not want that dishonorable discharge. As you all know, that's going to get you out of some benefits. Okay, you get the other than honorable. Sorry, you still might be able to get some of the things, but let's cross that bridge when we get to it. We're not trying to get that other one. We want the honorable discharge, right? So as long as you come out with that honorable, you're going to be eligible. You'll get your health care. You'll get your VA benefits for education. Even your spouse can get it. I'm going to tell you guys a really quick story, and this is something just to kind of keep in mind. You might transfer it to your dependent, but if later on down the road something happens and you get a dishonorable discharge, okay, that money, it kind of messes up for your dependent. So just kind of stay with that honorable as much as you're able to. Okay, that's the one thing. And I found that out, not from my personal service, but from someone who I was helping. So that's just kind of keep that in mind. You know, if you transfer it off, you want to keep on the good road.
Okay.
Basically.
Clay, you remember during Don't Ask, Don't Tell, a lot of people were, you know, and even before then, a lot of people were discharged because they were LGBT. Clay, nowadays someone can go back and appeal that discharge and turn it into an honorable, correct?
Yeah, they can. They need to go to file an appeal with the VA. It has been mandated that all of those discharges can be upgraded to honorable. So if you are thinking, well, I got kicked out, back in the day, I'm not eligible, go back to the VA and have them review your discharge package and get your benefits changed, get your discharge changed to honorable. And then that opens up all the benefits that you've been denied since you were basically removed from the military.
That's right. Clay, is there information on the Pride Military Department website or something like that?
Well, yes, there is. In fact, there's one of our representatives is starting a commission to review and investigate the negative impact that happened to the LGBT community LGBT community that was kicked out of the military. And so if you go to the website, I believe it's the first or second, maybe the second from the top, and there's some really good information for you to look at. But the best thing you can do is, va.gov. And I'll say this, everyone has this sort of these negative connotations of how bad the VA is. I can tell you from personal experience, my experience with the VA has been very helpful, been very beneficial. There are so many people there that want to help you. The biggest problem that most people have is finding the right group. The analogy I use is there's a giant office building with a front door, and there's no signs on there. And everyone's behind these doors waiting to help you, but they can't come into the lobby to get you. You have to go in and find them. But I've called the VA help desk and said, hey, here's my issue. Here's what I need. And it is amazing how they can get you in touch with the right people. And then once you get in touch with those people, how willing they are to help you. So I strongly encourage you, don't be afraid to call the VA. And I will say this, if you're listening to this and you are a veteran and you're having troubles, don't be afraid to send me a private message. I am more than happy to help you navigate this field as best I can to make sure you're getting the benefits that you earned.
Thank you, Clay. And you can reach Clay at military@sdpride.org, military@sdpride.org. But I want to go back to Vicki now for a minute. You mentioned spouses, you mentioned children, which is fantastic. But can I use my VA as an active duty while I'm on active duty? Can I use my VA benefits?
Right. Yes, you actually could. Here's the thing. I'm going to give you guys a little bit of an insider. Okay. Working in education for as long as I have and working with veterans and their benefits, I wouldn't recommend using your post 9/11 or your GI Bill while you're on active duty. I would really try and use PA, the tuition assistance. And the reason that I'm going to recommend that is because, one, they're only going to pay for your tuition and fees, and they'll give you a small book stipend, which might sound like a pretty good thing versus not having it, but you're not going to get the housing benefit that you're eligible for because you're not going to be able to double dip. You're already getting it from, fill in the branch. You're already getting it from the Department of Defense, essentially, so they're not going to give it to you. That's if you can get away with not doing it. I would recommend not doing it, but you could if you want to. And
Okay.
and I'm thinking ahead, because I want you guys to get the full benefit out of that.
Sure.
I don't want you paying for school down the road. You don't want to pay for it.
So you're at Mesa College. How many veterans?
I am.
How many veterans do you deal with? I mean, is Mesa College a very active program, popular, good place for veterans?
Right. No, we are. We're like smack dab in the middle, right? And that's one of the things that's great. We have, as far as military affiliated, and I'm putting the veterans, the active duty, and the family members in there, we have about 1,500 students. So we have quite a few. Now, as far as who is receiving the benefits, we kind of come down a little bit because not everyone wants to use their benefit at the community college. It's pretty inexpensive to come to us. And that's why I said, if you want to go to a 4-year school, you want to do something else that's going to cost some bucks, save your GI Bill for that. Where it doesn't cost a whole bunch of money, try and pay for it, or use free money. I always say free money. Try not to take loans, get free money. We all love free money. I mean, Bob and Clay will attest to that. We all love free money.
Hey, we at San Diego Pride, we need free money. Send it.
Exactly.
Send it. So you mentioned Mesa, 2-year college. So
Yes.
4-year college, university, private, public. I can use my VA benefits at any of these places?
You sure can. The nice thing is that any of the state schools or the private schools like the USDs, University of San Diego, University of Southern California, etc., those schools, we're all approved. Okay, in San Diego alone, pretty much all the schools are approved. Where you start kind of getting a little like, is this course or is this class or is this department or school approved? Those are going to be the for-profits. Something that's not like, again, Mesa College and the community college system, California State University, the University of California. Those are all approved. Okay, you can use it anywhere you want to go. And if you're looking at a public institution, which again are the CSUs, the UCs, and the California community colleges, everything for tuition and fees will be paid for. When you get to the private schools, the USD, the USC, Pepperdine, Stanford, all those schools, they're not going to pay for everything because they cost a lot of money to go to. You're looking at about $20,000, okay, a semester. They may not pay for all that. But there's another program that I want to mention. It's called the Yellow Ribbon Program. Great program. It's part of the GI Bill. For instance, if you wanted to go to USD, okay, the University of San Diego, right now, today, now this could change in a week or two, but right now, they will match the yellow ribbon. So basically, you're guaranteed to get a yellow ribbon, saying that if your GI Bill is only going to pay for, let's say, $8,000 a semester, we're going to put in the rest. We're going to pay for this so you can come to my school at the University of San Diego. That's a pretty good thing. Not a lot of private schools can do that because, again, it's money. It costs money for them to do that. But see, that's an example of a private school that wants veterans. So you can look at it that I'm not pushing USD, but I'm just saying that's just an example. If I were a veteran wanting to go to a 4-year school, a private school, they'd be at the top of my list. I'm like, well, what the heck? They're going to pay for me, and I can use my GI Bill. So
we have close affiliations with USD here at San Diego. Of course, our mayor is a graduate of there. Many of our volunteers are graduates of there. So we're we have good relations with USD. So let me ask you this though. As a veteran, and I'm applying to colleges, how can I find out if a private college has this yellow ribbon? How could I find that information?
Right. Well, aside from just picking up the phone or emailing them, it should be on their website. Pretty much every private school I've ever looked at, because I do work at a community college, I'm trying to figure out what schools and private schools would be good for some of our students to go to, our student veterans. I do look at the websites, and pretty much most of them have something about the yellow ribbon. So if you go onto the main page, you do the search of GI Bill yellow ribbon, it'll be right there and it'll come up. If you don't see anything or there's not enough information, I highly recommend for you all to call them. If you're looking at anyone in Southern California, I pretty much know all the folks, so shoot me an email and I'll get you in touch with whomever. Like at USD, it's Amanda and I, known her forever.
Fantastic. So if I'm searching, pretty much every state school, whether it's a community college, 4-year, Cal State, UCS, USC's, they all have websites that will tell me about a VA department or a military veteran students programs, right?
That is correct. That's something that a while ago the schools really put into place. They either have a full-on like a veteran center, or like we call it at Mesa, Veterans Success Center. That's what we're focused on, is the veteran success. But any of the schools will have some sort of an area. If they don't have an actual center, they'll definitely have staff who can help you. Right. So that's the one thing you can always do. And the websites, there's always stuff on the website.
And right now, with the pandemic and for the time being, at least for the time being, we're still virtual. I'm sure you've had to figure out how to reach your students and reach your population. How has this been for you? Have you, it must be challenging.
Oh yeah, at Mesa, and even across for all schools, it definitely is challenging. But you know what? It's just trying to figure out how might we be able to serve them. And one of the things that we do is that I send a lot of emails. I've done that since I started at Mesa, so they got to know who I am. It was supposed to cost Victoria, but I go by Vicki. Okay. So they kind of get to know my name. They then get to see pictures when I was out and about on campus. We offer some Zoom sessions because I don't like emails as much as I like a Zoom. I like face-to-face. I really missed out with this pandemic. So we offer a full-on Zoom front desk, and that's kind of what we're looking at. It has been challenging, but fortunately, through some creative ways, we've been able to still keep in contact with our student veteran population and military-affiliated population.
That's fantastic.
I can't wait to get back. Yeah.
I know I speak for everyone at Pride saying thank you for what you're doing for our veteran population. So I can only use my VA education benefits towards a 2 or 4 year college, towards a degree program. Is that correct?
No, actually, you can use it pretty much anywhere. The state of California, along with the Department of Veterans Affairs, the federal department, they work together to approve programs. Okay? Not necessarily schools, but it kind of comes out to be schools. So let's say I wanted to be a truck driver or a welder, a barber, hairdresser, whatever it might be. I can do that with my VA benefit. So I just have to find out, Vicki's Barber School. If I went through all the details as Vicki's Barber School and got that approved through the state of California, we would be good. My program is approved. I put all the checks in the box for the state of California with the Department of Veterans Affairs, and now I can start having students come in, tuition's paid, they get their monthly housing benefit. Now that's kind of the same thing what I would go through at Mesa. I still have to say all the checks are in a box for Mesa, we're good to go. So, but yeah, you can go anywhere. You can go culinary school.
Let's give a thumbs up to I'm gonna read a list and you say give me a thumbs up. So you said culinary school.
Yes.
Barber school.
Yes.
Cosmetology. Truck driver. Plumbing.
Yes.
Welding. I mean, it's amazing because I can do I can do trade schools. I can do the crafts. It doesn't have to be the traditional 4-year college, or 2-year, which is fantastic. I'm going. My GI Bill expired, or else I'd be going to truck driver school. Cool.
I know, right? I mean, it's great, and that's something that a lot of people don't realize because everyone's push. Oh, higher education, higher education. Don't get me wrong. I'm in higher education. I think it's great, but you know what? Not everyone is meant to go into higher education, right? Some folks are like, I want to do this trade, and this is what I'm going to love doing for the rest of my life, and that's great. Let the GI pay for it. It's to get you employed. Help you move on.
That's what we're talking about today. How you've earned this benefit by serving your country, and we appreciate that. So we want to make sure you use it. So I got a question here. The veteran was discharged in June of 2001. Yeah. And they never used the GI Bill. Is the 15 years too late? Are they done?
I am thinking they probably would be, because it was in 2017 that it went to the Forever GI Bill. And 2001 to 17 would be 16 years.
Right.
Okay. However, what I would highly recommend for this person to do, there's a gentleman here in San Diego. He's a vet success counselor, and he will. If you contact him, I know that that we'll be able to get his information up for you all. But if you contact him via the email, his name is Ryan Morris. Ryan will be able to look things up because he has the magic program to go into and see what you might be eligible for and what not. So, and again, depending upon your discharge, whoever, was asking that, you may be eligible for something else completely different. If it was a medical, if it was, injuries, whatever it might be, there might be some other options. And that's where Ryan can dig deep and find that. And
do you have his contact information?
I do. Let me get that. Like I said, his name is Ryan Morris. Okay, and Ryan is a vet success counselor.
Okay, why don't you, if you find it, you can send it to me or send it to Clay. Okay. We'll make it available to folks who reach out to us. Okay, so this way
we'll do that.
We can continue on. I wanted to ask about so your role at Mesa.
Mm-hmm.
You work at the Veterans Success Center. You're the director, supervisor of that. But you're kind of like a veteran buddy. You're kind of like a mentor to these folks. Tell me about that, because that sounds really rewarding.
Right. It absolutely is. While I've been working with veterans in higher education, one of the things that really has kept me going to want to continue working is the opportunity to help, the opportunity to be able to say, to someone, you know what, this is what you want to do. This is what your benefit is. How can I help you get to that next step? Because I think it's really important, being there to listen to them. I mean, the stories that I have heard from students who have come back as corpsmen, and they were in Fallujah, and they're talking about all these things, and they're like, but I don't know what I want to do now. I don't want to be a nurse. I saw enough, and just sitting there talking with them and giving them that person just to that's being that person where they can just that can just listen to what they're saying. I think that's really important, and that's been so rewarding, not only for me, to see them come in one way and then walking across that stage to maybe 3 years later. It's great to be able to sit there and just talk with them and learn and open up, and we each find out a little bit about each other, and we also find out a little bit more about ourselves. I've always just wanted to learn about people. I've wanted to help them, and that's why I got into education and working with veterans and family members. I love working with the veterans. I would not give it up. I mean, who knows when I'll retire? I'm at that age now, but you know what? I love what I do. I love being able to help people. It's very rewarding. And that's why I'm here today as well. It's like, I just want to put my knowledge to everyone.
Well, I know I appreciate that because, Clay, you've seen this too. Sometimes a veteran leaves the military with not a clue of where they want to settle even, but what they want to do. And some jobs in the military transition quite easily to civilian world. Maybe obviously anybody in medical or nursing, or I was a yeoman. So, I mean, admin skills and Clay, what were you in the Marine Corps?
So I was a Stinger missile gunner, which is a shoulder-fired anti-aircraft missile.
A lot of call for that in the civilian world.
Imagine offers lined out the door to come do that for a living. So of course, that wasn't a possibility. Fortunately, I also had a lieutenant who got me into looking at computers, and this is pre-Windows. I remember when Windows came out, and I learned through the military, I learned some basic computer programming and decided when I got out, I wanted to do that. And so I went on to Texas A&M and got a degree in computer science. But But I will say that the skills that I did learn in the military that transitioned to college: responsibility, leadership, accountability, turning things in on time. I also wasn't 18 years old taking classes. I mean, I was 20, 25, 26, 27 to 32. You know, I had a different mindset. I had been in the real world. I knew what it was like to get up every day and go to work. I never wanted to leave college. If I could be a professional college student if I could have been for my entire life, I would have done it in a heartbeat. I just never would have taken a final and gone to take the next class. So, you know, but the thing that would help is, you know, so Vicki, if I came to you though, if I'm getting out in the military and I've got my Stinger missile gunner skill sets and said, I have no idea what I want to do. I thought that I would learn something in the Marine Corps that would transition to the real world. I didn't. I don't know what I want to do. What are you gonna? What can you help me with?
Oh, sorry, I was on mute. You know, one thing that, because I actually had a student just like you, Clay, came in very similar. He was a sniper, right? It's like, what am I going to be able to do? You know, what am I going to put on my resume? You know, I can shoot well. You know, whatever it might be. But you know, that's the thing. There's so many things, right? You learn leadership, you learn patience, you learn just how to follow through. There's so many skills and that you all come to us with. It's amazing. And it's just trying to figure out, what is it you want to do? What are you thinking of? We could find a major for that. And that's really what it's saying. I worked with a lot of students who were coming in from the Marine Corps. They were going through the Mesa program, the officer candidate, and they said, you know, Vicki, I just need a 4-year degree. Well, what do you want to study? You better like what you're studying, because it's going to be heck the 2 years. You better like what you're doing. You know, I understand you just need a degree. And coming up with something that they're going to enjoy and figuring out how that's going to work and where it's going to get them for their next, you know, job in the military or whatever it might be, was really gratifying, because they find out that, you know, they really like some of the fine arts areas. They like the social sciences. You know, it wasn't all about, you know, the hard charger, run, do this, do this. It's like, no, I like this. And those men, because they were predominantly men that I worked with, I had a handful of females going into the officer rank. These young men, they were awesome officers, you know, because they learned so much. I mean, think about it from this side. And I know that I'm kind of preaching to the choir here, but, you know, when you have someone that comes into a university setting from the Marine Corps, which is, you know, one culture, we know that. And when you come into a university setting where you're working with younger people, you're working with folks who are not like you. Those officers, when they became that officer, they're like, you know what? One of my best friends was a gay man in college. He's one that I would sit there and I'd study with. Or was a lesbian woman. This was great, because they don't get that as much in the military, or they weren't at that time. So this was a great training. And these men, I still keep in contact with many of them who are still officers. And they tell me, they're like, Vicki, going to Cal State, at the time I was with Cal State San Marcos, they said, Vicki, going to Cal State was one of the best experiences I could have ever asked for. And I learned so much that the military would have never taught me. Mm-hmm. You know, so those are great things. That's my little mentor side.
Yeah, and being a mentor, as Clay knows, and you do, Vicki, it's so important to take the time to listen and to hear where we're at. I would imagine, you know, that it's a difficult transition from the military as active duty to now a veteran student, where you find yourself predominantly with much younger students, younger folks. And now, you know, you like Clay said, you had to get up, and depending on what time, you might have got up at 0400, 05, 06, and you weren't late because you couldn't be late, and your hair was cut and your shoes were shined. So, you know, do you see that transition as a struggle, and how can we help our veterans?
You know, definitely some of the veterans, they struggled being around the younger students in classes, because it's just like what you said, you know, they're coming in late, they're sitting there, you know, like this, right? Playing on their phone. Y'all didn't do that if you're in class. You all didn't do that if the CEO was talking. right? I mean, or if you did, you hit it a little bit better.
They didn't have cell phones when Clay was in.
Cell phones back in the days.
Me either in school. I don't know what I'm talking about either. We're all the same age here. but you know, it's still, it's one of those things that they, you know, the students would kind of get very low patience when they see someone coming in late, not paying attention. And that's something where I would sit down and think, you know, guys, this is what it is. You know, I actually was talking, I have a friend of mine, he's a retired sergeant major, same age as me, who's in the military for 30 years, I think Rich was. And he said, you know, Vic, when I went in as a young Marine, and then I look back, you know, and I look at where I'm at now, you know, 30 years in, retired sergeant major, he said the changes that the Marine Corps did on how you had to teach and work with the young Marines. He said it's the same thing in school. When they come out, they're having to learn and adapt very quickly. And he said, and it's just how you work with them and how you talk with them about that adaptation. So they do struggle, but sitting down and talking with them, say, you know, this is who you're going to be working for. You have a good chance of working for one of these guys or gals. So let's work with this now.
Yeah, I want to throw this out. So people who know me, my husband is a professor at Mesa College, who got me in touch with you, and he teaches Spanish, and he loves when he has active duty or veterans, because he knows they're not 18 or 19. They're more focused. They'll ask questions. They'll approach them after class. They'll call him during his office hours. He always brags about when he's teaching, he always comes and tells me, oh, I've got, 2 sailors in my class and they're doing so well. So don't be afraid. Like, I know it's overwhelming when you think I'm going to get out of the military and go to college and I'm going to be 20 something and these kids are going to be 18 or 19. You would be amazed at how well you can fit in and how much better prepared for what is up in front of you than you think. So don't let that hold you back either. I was 27 when I started. I was 31 when I graduated college. So the age is not a problem. But like I said, my husband loves the military people. He's always bragging about them when they come in the door, that he likes having those students. So
that's nice to hear, Clay, because there's a good tip for success there, which is lean into your education and engage with your professors. That's really great. So you mentioned when we did, we met together a week ago to talk and prepare for this, and you mentioned a program called the VA Vocational Rehabilitation Program. And I want to give some time for you to share with us about that and explain to our listeners and our viewers what that is.
Yeah, no, absolutely. The Voc Rehab program is an excellent program. It's an employment program, so it's not an education per se program, but they pay for you, excuse me, they pay for you to get an education to be employed. So let's say that person who's a sniper coming out of the military, they're like, what am I going to do? How can I, get into another career? I have some orthopedic issues. My rating's about 40%, let's say, for disability rating. There's this program called Voc Rehab. Now, Voc Rehab is going to pay to get you retrained. If that's through an associate's degree, great. If it's through a bachelor's degree, wonderful. Master's or doctorate, that's great. If it's one of the tech programs, that's okay too. They're going to pay to get you into that. Now, here's the thing. When you try and get vocational rehab, this program is not going to pay for you to be trained in a career that's going to aggravate your disability. Let me give you an example. If you have orthopedic issues, you can't stand for a long period of time, but you're like, I want to be a nurse. Well, chances are that's not going to work because you have to stand a lot, right? You have long shifts, etc. So they're going to work with you on trying to get into another area. Another case in point, mental health, okay? If there's something going on with you, then you're like, well, is this really the right one? Maybe we can go to teaching, or maybe we can do something else for you. But it's a great program. They pay everything. Everything. When I say everything, I mean everything. They pay your tuition, your fees. They pay for all your books. They give you a housing stipend. You get medical and dental insurance. So you get everything taken care of. That's a really great thing. Now, if you're interested in that, because there are little details and little pieces that you have to have, I believe it's a 20% disability rating, but a voc rehab counselor can talk to you more about that. There's a person, Ryan Morris again, he's our vet success counselor. I go to him all the time and I have him talk with our students. He would be able to talk to any of you much more in detail about voc rehab and how you can get into it. Ryan's an awesome person, known him for probably now almost 8 years. So he knows this stuff. I highly recommend for y'all to get a hold of him, and I trust him. So I know that you can trust him as well.
That's great. Thank you for that. So I thank you. Keep Tyler, if you can keep scrolling Ryan's information there on the bottom of the screen, that's great. Because sometimes it's really helpful to have a trusted advisor and someone who can say, hey, I was at this, I was listening to this live stream, and Vicki Hernandez from Mesa College mentioned your name. Can you tell me more about, whatever, and so for the question earlier in the broadcast about the person who was discharged in 2001, please reach out to Ryan and contact Ryan. That's great. Thank you so much, Vicki. We're closing in towards the end of our hour already, believe it or not. So Vicki, I'm going to give you, I'm going to open it up and let you just share any, a success story, a last minute bit of advice. Just let you share with whatever you'd like to with our listeners.
Oh, great. Thank you. If there's one little nugget that you can really take away is that don't wait until you're getting out or until you're out to start planning. So many times I see they're veterans at the time, the veterans coming to me, it's like, oh, you know what, I need to start school, I need to take care of this, but I don't know what to do. And then we start getting pushed up against timelines, deadlines, etc. Start this early. Start looking at it. Start looking at, like, do I want to go to college? Do I want to go to trade school? What do I want to do? What am I thinking of? And you can call and talk to folks, even if you're not a student there. So if you need to talk with me, I'm available. You don't have to be a Mesa student to talk to me. That's the one thing I want you to know. You really don't have to be a Mesa student to talk to me. But I could, help you with anything, give you some advice on start with this first, go there, things like that. Just don't wait till the last minute because deadlines come up very quickly. The community colleges, we don't have as many deadlines as the four-year schools do. When I was at Cal State, once we hit a deadline, and I hated this more than anything because I hate saying no personally, I would have to say, oh, we can't do that. You have to wait for 4 more months because they have really strict deadlines. Okay. I'm going to also talk about success story. Young man came from the community college when I was at Cal State. I really didn't know if this young man, young Marine, I didn't know if he was going to make it through college. He had so many things going on, and he ended up working for me because I thought that could help him, be a little bit more focused on things. And this young Marine, he is someone who made it through school, very bright guy, just had a lot of things happening with him. But he went through school, and I was so excited to be able to watch him cross the stage. He then went on to an MSW program. Okay? And talking with him and seeing him through it, he would always keep me up to date on what was happening in his life. And seeing him then walk across the stage on a master's program, it was amazing. He grew up in LA. He, his family wasn't super wealthy and all these things. He was just making it through and joined the Marine Corps. He wanted to be a Marine. It was after 9/11. I was so happy for him, because when he first started, I was like, oh Lord, please help him. I need to work with him. To this day, he emails me every, first of all, he calls me boss. He doesn't even call me my real name. If he ever called me Vicki, I probably wouldn't even recognize it. I'd be like, who's talking to me? Because he says boss all the time. But this young man, he sends me a text message every Veterans Day, every Memorial Day, birthday, holiday, everything. So, that is, I thought, as a success story, someone, you just need to come in, you need to just take that initiative. We're all here. That's what we get paid for, okay? But I don't do it for the money. I do it because it's what I want to do. Even when I retire, I'll probably still do this stuff just to give back, So So
Thank
you guys
you.
are my people. You guys, I love working with you guys.
Thank you for sharing that. I think
Yeah.
the important thing, Clay, you've mentioned it. Vicki, you just mentioned it. I know it's in my life too. I've had people who mentored me who've taken an interest. Sometimes they wrap me upside the head and say, "Come here, dumbbell." But they take some interest and they take the time to listen and to be interested and to be there for us. And it's really important. And now I think all three of us, certainly Vicki, and I know Clay, yes, all three of us are in a position where we are able to be mentors and to give back. And that's really a powerful opportunity. So thank you for that story. Thank you for being with us today, Vicki. Thank you for enlightening us, sharing with us about veterans benefits, especially education, of course. Clay, I'm going to turn this quickly to you. I want you to, if you got a few minutes, tell us about the San Diego Pride Military Department. What's going on there?
So we have a lot going on. So even though we're still on a holding pattern to see if we're going to be able to do a meet in person event or what that's going to look like, we have been holding our monthly meetings. If you would like to attend, I invite you to come. Just shoot us an email, military@sdpride.org, and tell me to add you to the invite. All our meetings are open. You just need the Zoom call information. We have a lot of things planned this year. COVID, one way or the other, we're going to get through this. And so we want everybody to participate. We're really looking forward to the April 1st announcement to see if it's going to be in person, remote, or some sort of a combo in the middle ground. So as soon as Pride announces that, we'll share that. I'm hoping we get to see each other again live and in person. And we have some events later in the year that we know things will be back to normal. We're looking at some fun opportunities, maybe doing a field trip up to the Holocaust or the Museum of Tolerance up in LA. Maybe trying to coordinate something with Gay Days at Disney. And of course, our fundraiser, we're trying to do the Silky Shots, which we put on hold last year at the Hole. So a little fundraiser, a little get together. So we still have things planned. Once we can meet in person, we want to start up with maybe some potlucks, coffee nights, hangout events, movie nights, stuff that we can all sort of get back to normal. So make sure you're registered on the Facebook page, and we post stuff all the time. But once again, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, military@sdpride.org. I get the email. Bob gets the email. We're here to help and make your kind of help you solve your issues.
One of the things, Clay and Vicki, you'll probably get a kick out of this. Our membership, being San Diego, the largest military active duty, obviously then that means veterans. And so we have a large LGBT population. We have a great attendance every year at our parade. But throughout the year, we try to do programming like this and other things. We recently were at an event, Clay. You remember when the one gentleman served in the Korean War.
Yeah.
The Korean one, and they're still active in the community, and they getting involved in the Pride Military Department, and that's what it's all about. Too bad he wanted to know about their GI Bill, but I think he probably missed it, right, Vicki? Yeah. So, Clay, real quick, if I need to get information about COVID vaccine as a veteran, what can I do to get a COVID vaccine as a military veteran?
Well, Bob, you're in luck because I just went through this myself to do it because California is a little slow on the rollout, but the VA is on top of it. And so the process is very, very simple. So if you are already registered in the VA healthcare system, all you have to do is go to va.gov, and then there's a COVID phone number that you can call, and they will make an appointment for you to come in and get your vaccine. And so that's the easy way. If for some reason you're not in the VA system, and I'm not, I have great health care and, I've been doing my thing. And so I never bothered to do that. Big mistake. So I called the help desk, and they said very easily, all you need to do is bring the 10-10 easy form. And if you Google it, that's the first thing that'll show up. It's VA form 10-10 easy. You download that, fill it in, take that and your DD-214, take it to La Jolla at the VA hospital. It will take you maybe 15 minutes to do this. You take it there, go through the front door, tell the front desk you're going to records. You take a right at the end of the hallway on the right-hand side. There is the records office, and you walk in, and they will take your paperwork. They'll process it in 3 to 4 business days. Once you're processed, they will give you a phone call. They will tell you you're in the system. You can then call the number for the COVID vaccine appointment, and you call and register. And I've been hearing people are getting these. I had a friend who said he literally called, and within 45 minutes, he already had his shot. He called in, they had an opening, he drove down, got the shot, and he was done. He had to go back, later. But super easy, get in the system. It doesn't cost anything. It's your benefit. It's my benefit. It's our benefit. You deserve it. You earned it. Don't be afraid to use it. And if nothing else, get registered in the VA healthcare system, because you just never know when, even if you don't need them, you might. And had I known that, I could have got my shot a couple weeks ago when it was opened up. So there you go.
Thanks, Clay. Well, we've come to the end, and I want to thank Vicki again, Vicki Hernandez from Mesa College. Thank you for being here with us today and sharing, not just your knowledge, but there was real enthusiasm and there's authenticity. So thank you for that, and thank you for what you do for our veterans. Clay, as always, Clay, it's a pleasure to work with you and the Pride Military Department. Thank you for all you do, and I want to say thank you very much for being with us today. All right, so
thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. And now, hold on, everybody, because I want to tell you what's coming up next. You'll want to come back on this Thursday, March 18th, for our Vibe with Pride, and your host, Jay Rodriguez, 6 o'clock on Thursday, March 18th. And Jay's guest will be Paris, Bancy Vega, and Naja Baskin. So come on back this Thursday. You'll certainly enjoy Vibe with Pride. And San Diego Pride this past year has been striving to do more and more of our events, obviously virtually, these live streams, to bring our community, LGBT community, information, whether it's the Latinx community, whether it's the Black community, the veterans community. And, we're not in a silo. We're all together here, connected. So if you are able, and you're able to see, you've participated and seen some of these, and you can help support us, we sure would appreciate it. San Diego Pride, sdpride.org. Donate if you can. We would appreciate. This way we'll be able to help keep bringing these programs. This past weekend, we had a great program for our Pride youth. All this does cost money, so if you could help us out, we do appreciate it. And special thanks to our staff behind the scenes. You don't see them, but we couldn't do it without them. Alex Villaforte, Tyler Vasquez, and Mel Miaras. Thank you so much for your help. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in today. And thank you again, Clay and Vicki. Bye for now, everyone.